players talk about a road dog mentality. What is that?
Just an attitude, an edge. Your back's against the wall. You know, you're gonna have to earn everything that you get. It's going to be a tough, hard-fought battle. If you're gonna have a chance to win, you got to have that edge to you. Create your own energy. Create your, the kind of environment that you want, and you got to really, both emotionally and physically, impose your will, on the game itself.
Particularly challenging to create that energy on a road game?
I think if you're playing with guys that aren't any good or don't have confidence, it probably would be. So I think we've got the right kind of culture and the right mindset, collectively, as a unit. They like to perform and they like to compete, and they respect Miami and the personnel that they have, and a number of our guys know a number of their guys, and know what kind of mentality that they'll bring to the table as well.
Watch Brad Kaya on film and study him. What does he do well to make him so effective now?
Precision and poise, accuracy. Ball comes out on time. He's got a live arm. Understands defense as well.
Total defense stats nationally, they're so dependent on how other teams are playing, who they're playing. Did you really think in mid-season that you'd have a top 10 defense with this group?
I don't know. I spend no time, I'll be honest, Aaron, thinking about that. I don't care about that. I want to play well, and so the gauge is, how we are practicing and how we play and perform on Saturday. So that's the gauge. Are we doing our part week in, week out, doing what we're capable of doing to help us win, and not hanging on and finding a way, playing well, and so that's kind of the gauge and the mindset, and you're hoping for that, and thinking and believing that if we do X, Y, Z, we don't get hurt, then we should, this should be the outcome, and so that's the expectation. How guys come along and develop, and what issues that you are always faced with week in and week out and season to season. That always changes, and figuring out your own personnel. Here's what you thought you had, and then here's how things are developing, and here's your strengths, here's your weaknesses, here's where you need to help cover up scheme or player wise, and kind of move on again, and then match it up week to week. We've seen a variety of offenses. I was just telling Don, I love we do have some diversity within our group of players, and again, I know it's been well documented, we don't have the same depth of the players, but we have guys that can do a lot of different things too. So match up against a physical run team, play the triple option, and hopefully we'll see. This is its own challenge, a unique challenge up to this point in the season, as far as the throwing game and matching up. So we've played well in spurts this year, and we can certainly play better, having a killer instinct, and last year's group was so hungry for perfection, and I know these guys want it, but wanting it and getting it can sometimes be two different things, and so if you were greedy and were a stats guy and looked at, okay, you gave up a cheap, easy 40-yard run here and a 40-yard dump down to the running back, one was a misfit and one was just turning the guy loose, you could be, and that's why it's really hard to be like the best, because not enough people, players, coaches, whatever, those are the hidden plays there that make the difference between being the absolute best and then whatever else there is. So anyway, I know you asked me what I thought, and I thought we had a chance to be solid, and again, I'm fearful always of not doing our part, and being an albatross, to everything else, and So I don't want to just win. I want to win and complement the win by doing things structurally, strategy, effort, toughness, all those things that go into it. I want to do our part, and who doesn't, you know? So, and I've got the feel. I understand. You know, sometimes it's they played better people or whatever. It all really does at the end of the day wash out. Sometimes we only look at it like this and see whoever we're competing against, and then you start looking and pull the curtains back a little bit and start really evaluating it. You know, before we played Oklahoma, I remember how they haven't played a Big 12 offense. And I'm like, okay, well, I can go name the teams in the Big 12, and some of them are more prolific than others, but it's all about matchups. You know, I can say they haven't seen a front seven, you know, like we have, or whatever, you know. So you can always say that and have that argument, and you figure it all out. So,
what does Kaya do so well when you watch him on tape? What's he doing?
Decision making, reading the defense, distributing the ball, understanding leverage, pre-snap. He knows, oh, you're gonna really line up like that? Watch this, and he puts the ball right where you're not. And so I think he's probably a film junkie, and understands pre-snap looks and leverages, and hey, it's not that complicated. He's probably that guy that he just anticipates rotation or pressure. He stands very strong. He does not panic. Plays with great poise. He doesn't freak out. And he did all this. He was watching all of his games a year ago too.
He's obviously ahead of most guys.
Yeah. He's a good player. Really good player.
As good a quarterback as Kaya is it nice to be facing a traditional pocket passer quarterback as opposed to a mobile quarterback like Jeff Smith?
Oh, none of it's nice, you know. You know, if he's a wooden Indian back there and he couldn't throw, that's the guy I want to face. That would be nice. That guy.
I don't think you face any of those.
Somebody got they had the 3 pick sixes, and then the other team they had like 9 sacks. I mean, golly, that would be so good. Talk about an ego booster. Honestly.
You talked about like in 3 and outs. Coach Sweeney's talked a lot about winning the turnover margin. Is that something? 3 and outs to me. I mean, I agree with you.
I think obviously there's not a better stat that is more telling in winning and losing and more profound. But we've shown you can overcome that. Now, let's say you lose the turnover battle, and then you don't do those other things well. You're going to definitely lose. If you win the turnover battle but you don't do those other things well, I don't know how it would all shake out. But I do. There's no doubt that winning the turnover battle and then winning the rushing battle collectively, those 2 things, who can stop the run and win the turnover battle, usually you win. And explosive plays is another great stat in there too. So I don't know, but winning the turnover battle is something we got to be better at, and hawking the ball. And we had some opportunities, and we missed. We didn't make a couple plays, but that's a huge stat in winning and losing, no question about it.
It seems like your team, like in the Notre Dame game when the offense was kind of just sitting on it a little bit, that you guys did force those turnovers, did what you had to do. Would you say that they have that perception about this is a time when we need to force a turnover, or maybe it's okay to get a 3 and out right here and give it back?
Oh, you're always preaching. Everybody does. Hey, we got to come back out. We got to get a turnover, And sometimes you got to get lucky, and then sometimes you get into a rhythm with turnovers, and people expose themselves. I thought last week they weren't going to expose themselves. So, if I got a young kid and I say, get in the A-gap, don't leave the A-gap, he's going to stay in that A-gap. Pretty good chance by the end of the week he's staying in that A-gap. So if you teach a quarterback, you say, listen, do not take a sack. I don't care what happens, don't you dare take a sack. Get rid of the ball. And I thought, a week ago, so if he holds the ball, if he's not worried about that, he's going to hold it, and then he gets blindsided, and the ball's on the ground, and good guys get the ball. And So I think sometimes you're the coach overcoach it. Maybe a young guy, you know, restricts, you know, some of the things that they want him to do to, and protect him, sprint him out. And, hey, if it's not there, throw it away now. You know. So anyway, I think that sometimes is reflective too. That yeah, we didn't get any turnovers, but we need to be physical. I don't think we weren't physical. Sometimes you don't get forced fumbles and stuff because, you know, you're soft. And early in 2012, we were very, very soft, and it showed. We never made any plays on the other side of the line of scrimmage, and we didn't force any turnovers. And you know, so that's why we didn't have turnovers then. You know, last week we weren't soft. I really believe that, and but I thought that the running backs did a good job holding on to the ball, and the quarterback was not going to make any mistakes that way, you know, turning the ball over. So,
what's your plan for working DJ Reader back into the fold?
Well, he's taking reps yesterday, so we got to just evaluate him here in the next few days and see where he's at, and see how he's moving, and that's really it. You know, it's not real complicated. Those other guys are, you know, they're probably going to be sharper and have worked. You know, I don't know what DJ's done. You know, I know that because I've been told he's been working out and staying in shape, but I don't know what he's done other than that. And it doesn't matter to me. You know, what are you doing now? What are the other guys doing? What are the other guys? What have they done? And it's like anything. You know, if Ben Bower got banged up and was held out this week, but he's healthy next week, he's coming back. He's starting. Because he's earned that, and so DJ's got to earn, you know, he's got to earn, you know, whatever playing time he gets, he's got to earn it. So other guys have definitively earned it too, but it'll whether it's this week or next week, whatever, it'll happen.